Hey, it's Dorleen, and today I'm working on a layout using some photos from a food truck event that we went to. So I grabbed some supplies that I felt had something to do with food, which is obviously these food papers and cutouts. I also had these additional cards, and this is from Wild Whisper called Talk Foodie to Me. I actually kind of forgot about it, so it was fun to rediscover some of my products. I do have a stamp that is of a food truck, which you saw me show earlier. So I did a layout earlier. I don't think I did a film, but it is on my blog, which I will have my blog address down below in the comment or in the information section. But I did a layout with another photo from this event. So this is kind of that right side of that page. Now it's not exactly like a 2-page spread, but it's two 1-page spreads, if that makes sense. So the other layout had the red cardstock as the base, so I wanted to continue that color scheme, which is basically just like a bright red, yellow, and blues. So I cut that paper, that yellow kind of honey hive hexagons, whatever, into 7 by 12 inch. And then I like that strip, and it says something like cute and hungry. So I decided to put that down. I'm just kind of messing around with the placement of the photos. So I've mentioned before, if you are a subscriber of mine, I order my photos from my local Walgreens, and they have like 4x6 collages. And so I use those a lot when I want not a full 4x6 photo. And like those trucks, I didn't really need them in 4x6. So if you put 2 on each 4x6 collage, you get a little bit smaller, but basically it's like a 2x3 or a 2x3, no, 3x4, oh my God, inch photos. So I trimmed those down. The nice thing is it does have a white border around them, so I don't have to mat them at all. I did decide to use that one little red cutout for the title and also embellishment part of this layout, and I really like the way that looked. So I'm grabbing just a few things that I think will work. I went ahead and stamped that food truck on a scrap white piece of cardstock. I let that sit for a minute just because I'm going to be coloring them in with some alcohol markers. I don't do that on screen because I'm definitely not a coloring expert, but I'll show you after a while, after I fussy cut it out and after I color it in. But I'm going to use that stamped food truck as one of my embellishments as well. It's so fun to make your own embellishments. I try to do that whenever I can. You can see in this layout, I did the same thing with that food truck and used it as an embellishment. Very simple stamping background. I cut the huge title with my Cricut and also that banner. So I'm just kind of emulating that look I mentioned earlier with those bright colors, and just so it flows, not necessarily exact style, but you could tell that it goes. I hope that makes sense. So there's my food truck all colored in. I decided to do it a little bit more yellow than the other one. The other one was like a gray. And I'm just, again, kind of playing around with the photo placement. So I end up getting 6 photos on this layout. So I do like having multiple photos on a page when I can. But obviously I like it to look good, if that makes any sense. So I hope it's not too busy. I hope you like the way that I'm embellishing this. I just grabbed that scrap piece of black to use as like a road. I'm looking at the cards again, seeing what can I use, what shouldn't I use. I thought about cutting out that label, but I also have, here I got that Let's Go sticker, and I have little containers, or actually really photo containers, and you see how that container is blue, so I put my blue kind of random embellishments in there, and I go through there and I find a couple of things that I thought, okay, those work. I like those. So that speech bubble I'm going to use as my labeling, excuse me, my journaling spot. I did find those bright blue labels, so I was glad about that because I didn't have to cut out that other label from that card. But there's just a couple of things that I grab. I don't use everything, but I just grabbed a couple of things I thought might work. And I'm just, again, kind of moving around, playing around with stuff. That's one of my favorite things to do, is create these embellishment clusters. Now, the thing that I do, is I try to end up where the final amount of things is an odd number, because I always say that you should kind of stop in odds. I don't always though, so just a little FYI, sometimes it ends in an even, but I just kind of want it to look visually pleasing. Another thing that I do is I make sure that everything touches, whether it's just a little edge or the whole thing or something, so that way it's like a cluster, not just kind of like a um, random embellishments. I hope that makes sense. Because sometimes, especially with stickers, like you just kind of have things all over the page and it just looks like somebody just threw them down. And I like it to look like it's supposed to be there. So, oh, you see me right here. I'm matting that in white cardstock. And if you notice, it has a different color on the back. So this is the tip. So I have, and I'm sure we all do, I have a pile of paper that I go through every so often. I mean, I have a lot of paper that I go through every so often. And I kind of say, look, I've had this thing for, 15 years. I'm never going to use it. So I have a pile of paper that I tell myself I'm never going to use. Well, I was working on something completely different. And because I was just kind of messing around, I grabbed some of those papers that I was going to gift or put in like a giveaway pile, because they had the white background. And then I thought, God, I can use those for matting and things like that. So, if you are short paper or you need more white cardstock, and these are a thicker weight, it's like a cardstock weight pattern paper. And I just use those for that matting. And I thought, well, why not? So, there you go. Tip of the day. So anyhow, I hope you like what I'm doing. If you do, please hit the subscribe button down below. You can always give me a thumbs up or even leave a comment, and I will answer your comment if you have any questions. I do at least 2 videos a week. One will always be scrapbooking, and the second one is whatever it is I'm creating in the command center. The command center is the name of my blog and also my craft room. So I will admit that last week I wasn't feeling well, so I didn't do 2, but even though I say I'll always do 2, I guess there's always an exception to every rule. So I decided on that one picture, because the name of the food truck event was called Off the Grid, and for some reason I had printed it twice, one as this like wallet size and the other as a 4x6. So you saw me show that earlier, and I ended up using that as part of an embellishment. So I mentioned earlier that I had 6 photos on this, so you can definitely see the 2 4x6s that I have up at, kind of butted up against each other or on top of each other, and then those 3 of the trucks, and that one's kind of hidden. The title is kind of hidden in the embellishment cluster. So I put those together. I love the way it's looking right now. I really want to use that Let's Go. I'm not really sure where. And I really want to use this label because I did pull that out on purpose. And I really like the look of labels, especially with embellishment clusters. So you can kind of see me just messing around where I'm going to put it. I kind of put it there and I thought, it's just too much. And it almost seemed like, even though it's touching like I had mentioned, it just seemed like I was trying too hard, if that makes any sense. So I just added it right there. I kind of did it off side. I didn't want it to be exact, and I really, really like that. I ended up putting the date on there. So that's pretty much it. I do a little bit of splatter, which kind of seems to be something I do all the time. And then, of course, my phone ran out of battery, which I didn't realize. So what you don't see on screen is I did make a copy of the banner, the blue, yellow, and white banners up on the top. I outlined it in white, just like the other layout, and then also the banners in black. So isn't that super cute? I really liked it. I kind of went a little rogue on it, but I really, really like it. So like I said, it's definitely part of a 2-page layout, but not matchy-matchy in the sense where it totally just flows. But I really, really like it, and I hope you do too. Again, thanks for joining me, and I hope you decide to join me again next week. And here are some close-ups for you to enjoy. Thanks again for watching. Bye.